Hi everybody, Jennifer Blevins-Smith here with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today's topic is quality control in your clinic. And previously I recorded and released a video about quality assurance, and this goes hand in hand with quality control. So if you haven't seen that video yet, be sure to stop this one, go watch that one, and then watch this one, because that's kind of the idea of the sequence in which I have recorded and releasing these videos. So quality control. How do I view this as a medical administrator? Well, like I discussed in the previous video of quality assurance, I feel like quality assurance is almost like the pre-opening or starting of a practice, where you're developing the policies and procedures, keeping in mind how the policies and procedures are going to affect quality assurance when it comes to patient care, staff satisfaction, staff efficiency, just overall operations of your practice, and where you're going to identify what the policies and procedures need to be individually, specifically. You're going to assess them. You're going to make sure that you're looking at them from all angles, and every explanation of those is covering that. You're going to have the corrections, where if they don't, or you don't like something, you're going to change it, and then you're going to monitor it. So the monitoring of quality assurance is quality control. That's where, after you open and you start providing care and you've trained your staff according to the policies and procedures, you're going to start making sure that those policies and procedures actually are working, that it's actually providing increased patient outcomes clinically, that you're going to have a high customer or patient satisfaction rate. You're going to have staff retention because they are involved in this process and they are inadvertently happier and more satisfied with their job and their roles in your practice. You're going to see cost efficiencies because you're going to make sure that your workflows make sense and they're efficient when it comes to staff time and materials used, and that will inadvertently help you with cutting overheads and seeing more cash flow into your pocket. This all goes together, and it is a process. It does take a while, and it's ongoing. It's not like you just do it once and it's over. This is going to be something that you will do on a regular basis, and that would be up to you on how often you want this quality control or monitoring to take place for your overall quality assurance plan and your quality assurance control and implementation kind of sequencing. Ideally, when you first open, I would think you'd want to do it at like 3-month intervals, so that if anything was not working correctly, or it was, you had any issues, they could be addressed immediately and you can avoid further downstream issues. Obviously, if something very blatant came up, you would need to address it right there. But for the overall everything, I would say every 3 months at first is good. And then if, depending at the end of that year, if everything seems to be going well, maybe change it to 6 months. And I would keep it at least at every 6 months, depending on how big you are, how many changes there are. When you bring in a new provider, of course, things should probably be done sooner. When you do your staff reviews and those kinds of things, that's kind of part of this quality control, to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, that patients are happy with them, other staff are happy with them, providers are happy with them. So, you can definitely, if you look at this, quality control is kind of being checked all the time. It definitely, depending on the accounting, and if you're having your front desk run daily sheets to reconcile money collected, and then you go back and you check that to make sure it matches and everything looks good, that's a quality control measure. So there's definitely things that you will be put into place that will help with that constant monitoring, but the big overall deep dive, running reports, kind of putting things together, maybe even doing some case studies, whatever, the quality control part should be a very formal process put together. Of course, you as a provider owner, you're probably not going to have the time to do this, unfortunately, but hopefully you can find somebody that you trust, that understands it, that knows it, that can do this for you, and then report to you, and you guys can work on the next step, which is quality improvement together. Most things are going to be patient care related, so it's definitely important for the medical director, whomever that is in your practice, whether it's you or someone else, is part of this process and helping put together those improvements and identifying any issues or egregious things, especially when things happen, that you stop, evaluate, and see what happens. Of course, if there was a bad patient outcome or there was some kind of formal complaint made to an authoritative type governing body, something like that, this would need to be done immediately. Everybody needs to come together, drop what they're doing, and assess and go through everything that happened so that it doesn't happen in the future. And of course, if you have a governing body involved, you're going to have to put a corrective action plan together, most likely, to show that it won't happen in the future. But you know, it's those kinds of things. And unfortunately, this can happen to small practices just as much as they can happen to big hospital type corporations. So it's important to have this set up in mind and in place so that you don't put yourself at any kind of high risk of liability issues and compliance issues when it comes to certain things. So definitely making sure you're bringing in all of those compliance requirements, somebody who understands quality control and quality assurance to help you do this. I'm not gonna lie, this can be very cumbersome. It can be it's not a fun process, so it can be frustrating and people might try to avoid it or put it off as long as they can. And that's why I feel it's really important to have it scheduled so that everyone knows what to expect, that you have certain staff members that know that they're going to be involved in it and exactly what their roles are going to be and what's going to be expected of them, because it's good to see kind of the aspect or the perspective from all different roles in the practice. So from your back office medical assisting staff or nursing staff, your front office staff, your scheduling staff if that's separate, your billing staff, because yes, this still hugely is affected and needs to be looked at, is billing and coding for quality assurance and compliance. So you want to bring everybody in, other providers if you can, and you want people to be knowing they're going to be doing this, so maybe they can keep a notebook through that 3 months, writing down things that need to be discussed or brought up, or things that need to be worked out better, and things that can wait until then, or if not, they bring it to your attention right away, knowing it needs to be addressed and figured out immediately. Of course, you would probably want your more seasoned people to be involved in this, the people that really understand their jobs, their roles, and how everything is affecting one another in your medical practice and in healthcare in general. And you want to keep it very patient oriented. This is a patient safety thing. You will have compliance stuff as well, especially when it comes to billing and coding and the back office, but you know, definitely taking it from a patient's point of view is helpful, I think, because you keep that customer service aspect. And a lot of people work in healthcare because they want to help people, they want to feel good about what they're doing and how they're helping patients. And so a lot of people will appreciate that perspective of patient safety, patient satisfaction being number one, and making sure with that you're being compliant in all aspects of healthcare as well. If you have any questions or comments about quality control, please leave that in the comments below. Again, I just want to let you know I am not a professional in quality assurance, quality control, quality implementation. I don't have a degree in it, in health management services when it comes to this kind of area, but I have been in healthcare long enough that I do know how important it is to have this set up and constantly being done and somebody following it, because you don't want to put yourself at any kind of high risk and you don't want patients to be affected at all. So, you know, like I said, I'm no professional. I encourage you to do your own research, find people who probably have a better knowledge of it than I am, but I wanted to bring it to your attention because it is an important part of owning a medical practice. So smash the thumbs up if today's video was helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And take care of yourself. Enjoy the summer. It will be over before we know it, so take advantage of it. Thank you. Bye-bye.